this is the second video I'm going to go ahead and post. The other one was pretty long because I tried to explain most of it as fast as possible. And now we're going to go ahead and do a couple problems just applying the rules that we learned from last time, okay? So we're solving for x and all of this. So we're going to be treating the inequality, which this is the inequality right here. We're going to treat it as an equal sign. Now, the only thing that one's going to get affected by anything is if we're dividing by a negative or multiplying by a negative. But we'll get there when we get there, okay? So let's look at this problem. You can see a couple things. We have a lot of stuff on the left, okay? So we have a 6, we have a 2, and then we have a 6x again. So what can we do here in order to simplify my problem? Well, guess what? We can simplify by combining like terms. That's one of the skills you're going to have to know. So we're going to be combining by like terms. We're going to be combining those two. What do I get once I'm at 6 and 6? That's going to give me 12x. All right, now we just bring everything else down, which is the plus 2. And then we have the less than 14. Okay, so what we need to do here. Now, we need to isolate. Well, that means we need to leave the letter alone, which is in this case is 12. 12 is x. That means I'm going to have to move everything else away from it. And we always start with adding and subtracting. So as you can see, I see something that has a plus. So I got to move that one first. So it's going to be -2. -2. So that cancels out because, you know, this is just like an equal sign, right? Like we said before, we have to balance the equation. Now over here, this becomes 12. Okay, now we bring this down. Now we have 12x is less than 12. Okay, what do? We have a number with the letter. That means that we have to divide by the number in front of the letter. So in this case, that becomes 1. That also becomes 1. So x is going to be less than, less than 1. That is my answer for this one. Took me, maybe about a minute or so just to do it. So it's not too difficult. Let's go ahead and look at another one. Let me see. Okay, let's look at one that has some sort of distribution. All right, so this problem is a little bit harder than the other one. Now, what do we do first? Well, first of all, we need to, or this is what I would do. We need to distribute this to the 6 and the 7. What is that going to give me? So I'm going to start writing my problem. So I'm going to bring down the 6 because we're not going to do anything with it. And now we have a -4 times 6, which is -24. And then we're going to do the -4 times the 7, which is -28. Okay, now we do the greater than or equal to 122. All right, pretty easy. Now, what can I do here? I see that I have two regular numbers, the 6 and the 28. We combine them and we get the following. So, -24 and minus 22. Now, why do I have -22? Well, that's because 6 is positive, 20 is negative, so they subtract to each other, but I keep the sign of the biggest one. Okay, that's how I got that. Now we're going to go ahead and write this here. We're going to do plus 22, plus 22. The reason why I'm doing that is because I want to leave the letter alone, right? So that cancels out. That becomes 0. And over here we have 144. Now, what do I have on the other side? I'm going to rewrite it. So it's going to be -24. And is greater than or equal to 144. Okay, so what we're going to do here now is going to go ahead and divide by -24. Now, what is this going to give me? Well, over here is going to become 1, so I'm just going to have n. Now, I'm already going to change it because I know what I'm supposed to do. I divided by a negative, meaning that my symbol is going to change positions. Now it's going to look the other way. Now we just need to figure out what 144 divided by 24 is. And with the magic of a calculator, I know that it's going to be 6. Okay, so my answer is n is less than or equal to -6. Okay, not too hard. Okay, now let's go ahead and yes, this is a perfect one because this one gets a lot of people tricked. So we have this right here. Now, this is one of the easiest problems you can get, mainly because a lot of the stuff is already there for you to start working with. Now, over here on this side, I can combine those two. Over here on this side, I can combine this two. How do I know that? Because both of them have an x. All right, so let's simplify this. So over here, we're going to have -6x. And over here, we're going to have positive 2x. All right, now we rewrite our problem. So now we have -6x minus 16 is less than 2x. Now, we still need to solve for a letter. Now, what I can do, I want to put my letters together here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this one over here to this guy, to the 2x. So how do I do that? We put our line right here, and I have to do the opposite. So it's going to be plus 6x plus 6x. Those two are combined, so now that turns into 8x. Now over here on this side, we still have -16. What is the final thing that I need to do? Divide by 8. We always divide by whatever number is right next to my letter. So now I have x is greater than -2. Now, if I want to write this in terms of x, I just have to write x first and make sure I flip my inequality, because it was on the other side, right? So yeah, we have to flip it too. But either answer is correct. But you usually want to put x on the left side. So just giving you guys a heads up. All right, there we go. Maybe let's go ahead and do one more and then we'll call it a day. Look, this is probably going to be the hardest thing that I'm going to give you for the quiz or whatever we're doing, or an assignment. This is probably going to be the hardest one. Now we have a lot of stuff going on here, but I'm going to start with my parentheses. Gotta multiply that 7 with a 5 and then a -6. Now -7 times 5 is -35. And don't forget to put the letter. Now negative and negative becomes a positive. And this is going to be 42. Now we bring everything else down. This is 6n. Over here is greater than or equal to. And then we have 6, -5n. Alright, so let's start doing and look if we can combine like terms. And yes, I can. I have 2 n's on this side, on the right side. So I'm going to combine them. Both of them are negative, so it's going to become more negative. That is 41n plus 42. And this one's going to be greater than or equal to 6, -5n. Guess what I'm going to do now? I'm going to put it right here. Add by 41n. Add by 41n. Those two becomes 36. N plus 6 is greater than or equal to 42. Now, what number can I move from here? I move the 6, so that's going to be a -6. -6, and now we can go ahead and simplify. So we're going to have 36, and we still have the same inequality because we haven't divided by negative, so it's greater than or equal to, now 42, that would be 2, and then 4, 36 also. Now, finally, we have a letter, right, or we have a number right next to a letter. So we divide by that number. Becomes 1, so my answer is n is greater than or equal to 1. Alright, that is how you're going to be solving for inequalities. It's not very hard. Now, the only thing I do want to mention, and this might be on the test, I don't know if I'm going to put this, is what does that mean? Now, this means that my solution is going to be anything that is a 1 or greater. So if I were looking over here at this number line on the top one, on the top one, I'm going to go ahead and put in close circle at 1. Now, anything that's greater than that, let me do a different color so you guys can see. At 1, anything that's greater than that is going to be my solution. Anything that's below 1, it is not my solution. So it's not going to be part of my solution. Just wanted to bring that up to your attention. Now, tomorrow we're going to go ahead and graph these things. So hopefully you guys are ready. All right, see you guys next time.